Board games, board games. I might be talking about board games, board games, but I'm not gonna shout. Yesterday, Kirsten Lunde made a rule. Said you tried to think I said, and maybe it's good. And I tried it, and I don't want to be rude. There's no need to be, because it was great. And now that we have a new idea, there's lots more on the plate. Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good whatever it is, wherever you are. 10 a.m. is UK time for Best Beats and Board Game Leather, episode 924. And basically, what I'm talking about today is that once you get one new idea for content, by which I mean cards generation, level design, then you've got so much more that you can generate within a framework. It's kind of like, I mean, within a single game, it's analogous to a whole mechanism within the broader scope of gaming. So consider Dominion, and as soon as Dominion came out, so many other games were like, oh, we could also use deck building. And then, boom, so much new stuff. That was brilliant. And in a similar sense, if you're making a DCG or if you're making a mission based game, and then suddenly you're like, oh, what if people have to leave the card behind and use that card from the previous level for the next level? Then that gives you ideas not just for one level, but because this idea works, then you can be like, oh, that was cool. Well, what if it's the last two cards of the word? What if it's the first two cards of the word? What if it's the last card you played? And all of these are going to affect the game in different ways, not to mention that there might be other cards out of the deck. You might have to make different word lengths. And similarly, if it's a card game where you've got a bunch of rules on cards, then you might say, what if you're allowed to detach stuff? And the detached stuff goes back into my opponent's hand. That seems okay. How does that work? And straight away, you've got this whole extra avenue that you're exploring. So basically, what I want to say is explore the avenue. And sometimes, again, it's the whole thing of board game design doesn't go up and like we make a thing, we make a thing, we make, and sometimes it's oh, I've got an idea, and then I unlock all these ideas. And so yeah, that's what I'm basically saying. Anyway, recent highlights, living life and seeing the sights, recent highlights, playing games as other likes. What have been some of your recent highlights? For me personally, um, yeah, playing a couple of quick rounds of Kirsten Lunde's Questabell on the easy mode and thinking, this totally works. That was fun. Trying a single player game, simulating a four-handed game, playing as four different players. That was really interesting. And I think we've got a set of 10 levels that I'm really happy with for the easy mode. So I'm really excited by that. And I think we're pretty much ready to go on to the tricky and fiendish stuff. I'm super excited by where this is going. Brilliant thing, brilliant thing. What's the little thing which is brilliant? I'm going to say spending a day with someone, walking around with someone, sharing moments with someone, sharing food with someone, being sharing a space, even if you're not doing the same thing necessarily, just like I'm working and then that person's over there doing work. That's a brilliant thing. Just sharing space and sharing things. Sharing is a brilliant thing. As always, on Fridays, this is going to be a super quick show, but if you've got any comments, questions, then please chuck them in. Otherwise, um, yeah, I think I've already explained that if you're ever making levels or cards for something, keep trying new things. Because we know that one new technique can unlock a whole range of cards or levels. Keep trying wild things. It's super important to try to do wild experiments. Look at other things. How would a bicycle be part of this game? How would that thing translate into this game? Maybe I could subvert this. Maybe I could flip the things, literally invert them, multiply it by -1, which is a massive change. But could I make it so that here, rather than you want to get rid of your own cards, rather than draw cards, could that be a possibility? Like, could there be a card where you've, yeah, for each card that you have in your hand, you suffer some penalty? That's a new technique. And consider the wild ideas, bring them together, however that works for you. Do the brainstorming and spend energy. Even if you don't think something will work, pursue it. And so over to you. What's up? So you can share button if you want to. I'm here at the bike shop. Unfortunately, my bike has had a puncture. I'm going to try and get it. Well, I am getting it fixed by someone else, and then I'm going to cycle over for playtesting. And I'm going to be playtesting my game about auctioning cubes after winning an auction to become the auctioneer. And so I'm quite excited by that. Hello, Dina. It's lovely to see you, and I hope that you're generally well. What are you up to? Do you have many plans today? I mean, I wish I was over at National Theatre by now, and I would be if it wasn't for my bike, but hey ho, I will definitely be there by 11 in time for all the main playtesting. So, internet on the train is not great today, but wanted to drop in. Lovely to see you. Well, let me recap and wrap up before we finish up. So to recap and wrap up, um, Questabell is going well. I'm super excited by having this one idea that's unlocked so much more. Sometimes you try something and it's like, ooh, that feels a bit fiddly, or ooh, that feels a bit counterintuitive. Oh, that could only work in a very specific situation. But then when it's something like leaving cards, boom, there you go. And it's this kind of unlocking thing that makes me feel like there's so many more ideas to go. And it's like when Andrew Dennison made Alphabetical, and I thought, wow, if someone can make that something that I completely did not expect, then surely there's yet more ideas for the L deck to come. And similarly for my deck construction game, or for Questabell, if Kirsten Lunde can make this, there's clearly more and more ideas for Questabell, to do. So, like, keep whatever you're working on, keep plugging away at it. Keep, you know, it's on the back burner if you're tired of it. But I believe that maybe one day you will see this thing and you're like, oh wow, that unlocks so many ideas. If you want to check me out, I'm obviously Stuff by Bez in all of the places. You can check out my streams, and I'm getting close to episode 1000, which is going to have some amazing guests. Thank you very much, everyone, for being here. Lots of love. Share, spread the word, and I'll see you for a longer show tomorrow. And as always, the only thing I've got left to say is bye, 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 bye. This is a goodbye song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, 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 bye. This is the best song. Bye, 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 bye. Thank you for watching along. Bye, 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 bye. This is the end of the show. Bye, 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 bye. And now it's time to go. Bye, bye, everyone. Bye, 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 bye.